Yeah, and it's like a super cute photo instead.
There's a family photo of like her with her child, right? Because the developers were like, oh, can we get an updated photo of you to put into the game? Which makes it a bit weird, right? Like, I hope they remove that cutscene, because why would Naked Snake be beating his meat to a picture of a woman and a child?
Well, I'd hope they maybe remove it for that, but maybe the other ones are like,
I hope they didn't
still
remove
like...
the name of the achievement now.
What was the name of the achievement?
Snake Beater.
Oh, God, no.
You gotta admit, that's fucking good, right?
Oh, it's
that's
a good one.
So Faraway Lucas and lovely audience at home, same question. What is your favourite dumb detail from a Metal Gear game?
I mean, maybe just the fact that they keep putting in a guy that can't help but poop in.
Oh man, Johnny Sasuke, just pooping himself all day. Have you noticed like the lineage of Johnny's all shit themselves?
Well, yeah, obviously,
like, you
that's
bump
the
into his
running
dad
gag.
in Metal Gear Solid 3 and he's still pooping himself. It's like, how did that guy ever get with a woman when he's constantly just got shit in his pants?
Hey, I'm not done yet!
Just constantly.
Like, just imagine like being ingrained on you on a genetic level, like you're just predisposed to shit yourself. But let's talk about Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. Games today are often chock full of inconsequential details so tiny you could measure them with an ant's dick. Do ants have dicks?
I guess they must have. I didn't want to think about this today, Karl.
No.
No.
They're small is what I'm saying. And that's impressive, but a lot of those details are rendered on hardware with more operating power than a surgeon with a weed whacker. I'm really proud of that line, by the way. I'm really proud of that one.
I just think of the Spider-Man 2 scene where just for some reason they have a chainsaw in the operating room.
Oh, the surgical chainsaw they were going to use to remove Doc Ock's tentacles.
Yeah.
I still love as well, like, Doc Ock stood there with his, like, robot sentient tentacles of, like, I've got no idea how I'm going to make money. It's like, sell those! So imagine, like, selling them to, like, the construction industry or something like that.
I mean, those tentacles have better AI in them than the AI that is apparently going to rule the world in a year.
Doctor, if the artificial intelligence in the arms is as advanced as you suggest, couldn't that make you vulnerable to them?
How right you are. Which is why I developed this inhibitor chip to protect my higher brain function. It means I maintain control of these arms, instead of them controlling me.
Like, those tentacles are awesome. I love that they talk to him as well. And they all got their own distinct personalities. But we're not talking about Spider-Man 2 today. We might talk about Spider-Man 2 over on Wiki Weekends. Oh, that'll be a day. I look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Like, one day, me and Luke's going to sit down and watch Spider-Man 2 together and say, I can't wait to make a Wiki Weekends video about this, my love. And he'll be like, yes, Karl, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Like, we should definitely, like, meet up before we do that one and, like, watch it, like proper girls' night. Get, like, popcorn and stuff, right?
I'm just going to infuriate you by saying that Homecoming was better.
And as much as I'd love to say we're talking about Spider-Man 2 today, we're not. We're talking about Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PlayStation 1. A game that was released, like, oh god, like, what, 3 decades ago now?
I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes, this is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Oh, yeah, like 26 years or something?
Oh, do you know what's really bad? When I wrote this script, in the script I said the game was released 16 years ago, and the script is from 2014.
Yeah, like, all I can think of
Like,
right now...
I'm feeling double old, because I'm reading a script that I wrote 11 years ago about a game that came out 16 years ago when that script was written.
Yeah, in a moment we're just going to see the death screen appear of a Karl, like, Karl!
I'm just going to crumble to dust. It's insane. But...
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake!
But we're talking about Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1. But the Metal Gear Solid series as a whole is well known for being just absolutely lousy with silly, seemingly inconsequential details that were added to the game just to make it more fun and in some cases more realistic. Like we all know about like Metal Gear Solid 2 right on the tanker, just the physics room, we have like the magazines on the wall. and the ice bucket that you shoot, and the ice will melt in realistic time depending on how close the ice cubes are to each other, and the window will break and shatter depending on where you shoot it, and all that stuff was in there just as a flex.
I think of literally the opening of Metal Gear Solid, where, yes, it might seem primitive now, but at the time it was groundbreaking, where your footsteps were in the snow, and then the guards would notice the footsteps and
then
follow
the
them.
footsteps.
Huh? Whose footprints are these? Huh? What was that noise? Huh? Whose footprints are these?
Yeah, so that's the thing we need to clarify. For like all those people out there who aren't like me and Luke, we're ancient gamers. Do you know that meme? Of like, are you like a new gamer? And it's like Fortnite, and it's like, oh, an ancient gamer, and it's like Halo 3. I'm a super mega paleolithic mega ancient gamer. Because I was playing fucking like, I'm pre-Halo 1. I had an Atari 2600 when I was a kid. That was my first console. It had wood on it. Fucking wood.
Like, when you're playing with consoles that have wood on them, that's when you know.
They need to bring that back. Fucking classy as fuck. But yeah, like anyone who's like used to like modern gaming probably doesn't see like, hey, like footsteps in the snow that the AI can follow. That's not that impressive. It really was at the time. And the amount of people I know who played Metal Gear Solid 1 and got caught the first time when that happened.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it was literally unheard of that the AI in a game could do that.
I played the game years later, and even then I was thrown off by the fact, oh yeah, of course, like, I leave footprints in the snow, that seems logical, but the fact that the AI could notice them was the thing that blew my mind.
Yeah. And then you get, like, when you get to the point of understanding how the AI works and the limitations of it, when you just run around in a circle 15 times and the AI follows the same path.
It
wasn't perfect.
Limited, but hey, it was the PS1.
That's it, it was the PS1. That's the thing we need to clarify. And then later games in the series double down on that. Like, one of my favourite little details that happens in like Metal Gear Solid 2. I've got both games here. I've got MGS2, MGS3. These are the reversible covers with the Yoji Shinkawa artwork. But
Nice.
MGS2, MGS3. In MGS2, I love that if you run down the stairs too quick, your character will sometimes fall over. And it's like,
Because
it's
it
so
happens to us all.
It's so stupid, but well, yeah, you try to do a fucking cartwheel down a flight of stairs with wet shoes on. Of course, you're going to occasionally eat shit. Nobody's that good.
If you ever tried to do a naked cartwheel down a set of stairs, Karl.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, some of the detail is in there just to flex or to like show off like the physics engine or like the level of like skill on display by the developers. Other times it's in there for fun. Other times it's in there for realism. And I think like, you know, Raiden falling down the stairs when he does a cartwheel is all three.
Yeah, and these are clearly developers that love to flex, because think about the fact that every single step was steppable
Yes.
in the staircase, which again was a flex.
You don't see
'cause
that in games today. Right?
No, like a lot of staircases in video games are just secretly just ramps.
Ramps,
And
yeah.
they have like a texture of stairs on them, whereas I think it was such a development flex that Snake or Raiden like did a staircase step by step.
They individually walk up each step and walk down. Or alternatively, if you dive down them. But if you dive down them too quick or at an awkward angle, you'll eat shit and hurt your back.
Mm-hmm.
Or I thought like, if you like just stuff like you'll stand outside a Snake. If you stand outside in a tanker level in the rain for too long, Snake will get a cold and occasionally sneeze or cough, and that can attract the guard's attention.
Oh my god.
I think little things like that, and you think, why did they put that in? Why not? It's fun.
Why you had to sneeze?
Also, because they can. I think it's like Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, like the amount of like random little details like that are in Grand Theft Auto games, and individually they seem silly and even like pointless. Like, for example, flip-flops that realistically flip-flop. Why would you bother putting that in? The answer is unlimited development budget, and as a fuck you to everybody else trying to be a pretender to that throne. And yeah, on an individual level, that's seemingly an inconsequential, arguably pointless addition to the game. Taken in totality, though, it creates a world that feels real. And compare, like, you know, any of the cities, like, created by Rockstar to any of the pretenders, like, going through, like, fucking Crackdown. or the true crime streets of LA or streets of New York, the cities in those games that feel just completely dead and lifeless. They feel like boxes in which your character just flies around in a car and occasionally, like, you know, just shoots out the window or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think of Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's got so much detail in that game, and then it makes me scared to think, because GTA 6 surely has 10 times the amount of budget and time worked on as, like,
I'm not, like,
Red
the
Dead
biggest
2.
Grand Theft Auto fan, but my friend has been all fucking in on GTA 6 news, and half the stuff they tell me, I'm like, that can't be real. And then I think to myself, I bet Rockstar could do it, though, because, as mentioned, unlimited budget. And one of the rumours that I'm inclined to believe is, because if any company's going to do it, it's going to be Rockstar, is that if you play the game for 10 years, the character you have will age realistically in that 10 years' time. And I can imagine, like, a game, Rockstar would do that. Because, like, I remember thinking to myself, that's stupid, why would they do that? They created flip-flops that flip-flop.
They created, like, CG in San Andreas who would, like, you know, not realistically, but would, you know, be able to get fatter and
Fitter.
grow hair and sort of, like, and, like, Arthur Morgan, like, grew hair in real time and stuff.
Not in real time, like, you know, he'd grow hair, like, you know,
in real time in the
sped up
game
world
world.
time, yeah.
Go check the horses are ready.
You gonna take the old man into town? You take us too?
Well, what you got planned?
Nothing.
Time, right? And it's like, yeah, I can only think of the amount of flexes that are going to be in GTA 6 because fuck you.
Yeah, this is a really minor one, but that's kind of a topic of today's video. It's like really minor things that you otherwise appreciate, just because it shows a level of giving a shit that is not common, and as a result should be celebrated and acknowledged, even if the thing that you're acknowledging is otherwise very minor. And it's in Grand Theft Auto 4. It's the only time this has ever happened to me, and it will stick with me forever. And it's I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, just driving along with Nico, and Lucas, like we mentioned, like we're ancient Paleolithic gamers. We used to use like old ass phones that would interact with your speakers, right?
Oh yeah.
People don't know, back in the day, sometimes when you're in your car or, like, you know, listening to the radio and you're about to get a phone call, the radio waves will be interrupted by your phone call and you just noise. I was driving around in Grand Theft Auto and that noise happened on the radio in the car.
Oh my God.
And when that noise happened, I instinctually looked at my phone in the real world.
But secretly it was just Roman calling.
It was
to see
Roman
if
calling.
wanted
But think
to
for a
go
second about
bowling.
what that actually meant. That meant I was so engrossed in the game, and the game world had convinced me of its realism to such an extent, my character in the game got a phone call, and I pulled out my phone in real life. That is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I've never had a moment like that in a game since.
And that's such a timely moment
Again,
as well.
But it's so small a thing. But I wanted to point it out because someone put that in.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably thought when they put it in, no one's going to notice. I noticed. And,
Yeah,
and like on its own, I'd love to like have any other examples of like these really tiny, seemingly inconsequential things you noticed and appreciate because of how specific it was.
I think the thing that I think of when it comes to like tiny little details or maybe like interactions more so is the way that they built the games of like Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I've just, every time you think something is dumb and not going to work, it just works. And we've got the red bokoblins because we're in an easy area, but there's still like the silver one.
He's here, and that's like the hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
I love this game.
It's so good.
I can't wrap my head around how simple it feels, but how complicated
It must
those
be on the
games
back end,
must have
right?
been.
Because
Yeah.
I think so when me and you did a playthrough of Breath of the Wild, and again, it sticks in my head because you'd never seen it. And how many hours have you put into Breath of the Wild, Lucas? Just ballpark it.
Oh, both of them probably like 500 plus hours.
There we go. And we were playing through a mission, and there was a Guardian that spotted me, and it had a laser directly locked on me. And I just used kinesis to pick up a chest and held it and hovered it in front of the laser of the Guardian and blocked the laser shot. That's something fucking cool in it. Oh! No.
You ain't got more protection now, though.
Yes, I do.
Oh, it just desyncs it to lock on.
Lucas, I'm doing it! Isn't that great? Like, I would have never thought of that.
No, me either. That's so funny.
Come on.
Just use the chest.
This is so good! I never thought that'd work!
Protection is now ready to
That's
roll.
incredible that actually worked.
I was thinking that's never gonna work, and then it did. Oh, Sapphire, I'll take
And
that.
that's kind of just this game summed up, isn't it?
That was fuck. And the only reason I did that is I thought in that moment, how do I block it? I haven't got a shield. Well, I'll just pick that up and pole it in the way. And I remember you saying during the playthrough, I've never seen anybody do that before.
I've never thought of the idea of just use magnesis to pull something in front of you, and yet the chest was just a completely unstoppable shield because it's a item that isn't meant to be destroyed, but that interaction just worked.
It did, yeah, and like it worked. It's such a minor thing, but if it didn't work and I got hit, I'd have been annoyed. It's like in that moment, I feel I should be rewarded for my creativity.
Mm-hmm. And those are two games that like thrive, especially Tears of the Kingdom, obviously, with like people building fucking Transformers out there.
Yeah,
like, yeah, you should be rewarded for your creativity, and you are.
And as well, I feel that as well. The game should at the very least acknowledge that I have creatively solved that problem. Like, I think like, you know, all the puzzles in that game that people have cheesed, and I don't think it's cheesing. It's just you've creatively come up with a solution, and as long as you get the same end result, you should get the same reward. And I think another example would be Portal in regards to puzzles, where the first Portal game, a lot of like speedrunners and players who were really, really into it, like figured out a bunch of crazy bullshit you could do to like circumvent entire levels. For the second game, they started adding stuff like that in, and actually like allowing players to do the cheese because they thought, like, the developers thought it was interesting.
I think obviously there are cheesers and there are speedrunners and stuff of Portal.
Like, there's a difference between just jumping out of bounds and creatively solving a puzzle in a way that was not intended, but still gets the same end result.
However, I mean, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are also good examples in terms of like puzzle solutions that maybe weren't intended, but Portal and Portal 2, especially Portal 2, I think nail it so hard of making you feel like you've come up with an unintended solution.
Like making it feel like you've tricked the game almost.
Yeah, but it turns out that was the intended solution, and I don't know...
one of the intended solutions.
Yeah, like, there's a level of game design that they are absolutely dominating to make you feel so clever that you think you've cheated the system,
yeah, like
but you actually haven't, and they fully thought you... Yeah, but they knew you were going to do it, and they intended for you to do it, and...
Or they anticipated that you'd do it that way, and it doesn't break the game. I remember like one puzzle in Breath of the Wild, it was like, conduct electricity, and I couldn't figure it out. I went, oh, fuck this, and just dropped like 18 swords on the floor, and get like a conductive path of metal. That solved the puzzle. And I it opened up the shrine. It's like, you solved it. It's not the way we intended you to solve it, but you solved it. We're not going to penalise you for thinking outside the box.
There are so many times where I've seen people, or myself, have missed one element of the puzzle in those games. And, say, for example, the conducting electricity of like, well, I missed a box somewhere, but I have a giant, like, metal axe on me, so why can't I just drop the metal axe and it works?
It's the gaming equivalent of the Gordian Knot. Are you familiar with the legend of the Gordian Knot?
I don't think so.
It was this supposedly ancient ball of rope that had been tied into this absolute fucking mess of knots. And according to legend, anybody who could solve the knot was bound to rule the world. And it supposedly came to the attention of Alexander the Great, who walked up to this like fucking mass of rope and like asked for confirmation on the legend of like, is it true that anyone who can open this knot is destined to rule the world? Yes. Took out his sword and cut the knot in half. And I was like, that's not, you didn't open the knot. I was like, yeah, I did. I didn't sit there like an idiot. I cut the knot. And cutting the knot, it's not a common phrase, but it is a phrase that can be used to like, I did it the smart way.
Like, yeah, it didn't sit there and untie the knot, but it undid the knot.
It's referenced. It has to be a reference in like the Avengers movies, right? Where Captain America's like, you wouldn't be the guy to lie down on the barbed wire, and just Iron Man's like, I'd cut the wire.
You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play, to lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you.
I think I would just cut the wire.
And you can read that interaction literally, but I much prefer to read it as Iron Man saying, I would think of another solution that wouldn't involve sacrificing someone, which I feel adds to his arc of at a certain point he realises sometimes you have to lie down the barbed wire. Like, Cap was right. At a certain point, someone has to lie down the barbed wire so other people can cross.
In that one singular moment, there was no other solution, but it does speak to their personality traits, because Steve Rogers, as we saw in the first movie, of like, his first thought is to jump on hand grenade.
Yes.
Whereas Tony Stark, that would be his last thought.
Get away! Get back!
And can you think of any examples, Lucas, in like video games where you have cut the knot, as it were, and solved a problem in an unintended way?
I mean, yeah, I obviously brought up the example of Tears of the Kingdom, and one of my favourite ones is just the shrine that people may be aware of that is like basically like a pinball game.
Okay.
Where you have to try and like pinball a ball that drops down into a giant target. And instead, I just found a way to, like, hit the target and, you know, just basically, like, use the physics system to grab it and push it into the target.
Again, I think it's the one, like, during the playthrough we did, where it was, like, one of those... I don't know what you call the puzzle, where you have a ball in a maze and you have to tilt it and you use, like, the gyro controls in the controller.
And you can just
you turn your controller upside
down.
And you get and it gives you the underside of the puzzle, which is completely flat. Then you just tilt it to the side and put it in. That's cutting the knot, right?
Tilt through this entire maze. It's like, well, why not use the bottom of the maze?
It's like the equivalent, like walking, like, you know, cutting a hole in a maze, right? Like, you didn't solve it, I got to the centre, right? You didn't tell me I had to make my way through the maze. You told me to get to the centre. I got to the centre. What are you talking about?
My favourite thing was watching a person do that maze solution, but they were playing in handheld mode, so they had to turn their entire game console upside down and not be able to see what was happening.
And they still managed to figure it out.
They brute forced it in the end, yeah.
And it's a slightly more amusing example. I think it's like American Dad, where like Stan starts bullying his own son. He's like, what about, like, you know, your elderly mother needs to get some oranges up a flight of stairs. You need to get those oranges up a flight of stairs. You try to teach him like to defend himself. And Steve gets to a point where he's like, you know what, Dad? I realise I don't have to carry the oranges up the stairs. I can just pay someone to do it for me. And he just hires a big burly dude to beat up Stan.
I found him on Facebook, and it got me thinking. Why do you care how I get those oranges up the stairs? I can pay someone to bring them up for me. Just like I'm paying Stelio to kick your ass.
He says, you know what, Dad? You tell me when you think those oranges are up the stairs. And just this guy just kicks the fuck out of him for like 10 minutes. And it's like, again, right? It's like, I can just pay someone to do it for me. I like, what, Kick-Ass 2, right? Where the motherfucker, he's trying to learn how to fight. And he just gets his ass beaten. You know what? My superpower's being rich as fuck. I'm just going to pay people to beat everyone up.
Let's get you a mask and a costume, and we will call you Black Death.
Whoa. You don't think that's just a little bit incredibly racist?
Speaking of cutting the knot and getting back to Metal Gear Solid, there are so many ways you can do that in that game with like boss fights and stuff. Like, virtually every boss fight in every Metal Gear game, there's multiple different ways to get through them. The most famous being Metal Gear Solid 3: The End. Just turn your console off and wait 2 weeks and the guy dies of old age.
Major, I found the end. He's dead.
What the hell happened?
Maybe it was from old age.
I prefer shooting him before the cutscene.
Shooting before the cutscene, because you see him in a cutscene and... So to set up what we're talking about here, anyone's not playing Metal Gear Solid 3, as you go through the game, you fight the Cobra unit. Like, these are like the fucking best soldiers in the world. They've all got like superpowers and shit. They tell you, hey, there's this guy, the Sniper End. They're bringing him in to kick your fucking ass. And you have a cutscene where you look through a pair of binoculars and you see him being wheeled in a wheelchair into a base. If you skip that cutscene, they still have the animation of him being wheeled into the base playing. And if you quickly pull out a gun and shoot his wheelchair, he dies.
And I think that's a game over because it breaks
it's not
the
a game over, no.
continuity of the game.
When you get to that fight scene, they send in the Ocelot unit instead.
Oh, right. So that still works.
It's intended, yes.
I thought that was a fun Easter egg. You could kill him and get game over, but fair enough, yeah.
You can kill him first. And if you let the cutscene play out, because the cutscene shows him going into the base, if you let the cutscene play out fully, Snake doesn't have time to do that.
Because that is one thing that I enjoy about Metal Gear in terms of there are game overs where it's just like, well, you did something that shouldn't happen in continuity, therefore you lose.
Yeah,
I'm
time
sorry.
paradox, right? If you shoot Ocelot.
Snake, what have you done? You changed the future. You've created a time paradox.
You can, though, just shoot him in the leg and have less health when you fight him later in the game. Also, during that fight, like, that one's so fun, because, like, he gets his revolver, and if you have it, you don't have a revolver when you first start the game, but if you play New Game Plus, you'll have a revolver, and if you stand with that revolver in front of Ocelot, he'll say, quick draw time, and you can have a quick draw battle with him.
Yes, it's the heart of a duel.
Oh, he gets so hyped.
He gets so hyped.
Let's go.
Oh shit, quick draw battle. But if you quickly switch to a shotgun and blow him away, he'll get annoyed.
I mean, I would.
But I love that. That not only does the game anticipate that, hey, on a second playthrough, a player will have a revolver, we'll give Revolver Ocelot a special line of dialogue for that. But they also anticipated that some players would not play fair and pull out a fucking shotgun or something and gave him a line of dialogue to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah, it's very fun though, because you know that Ocelot would get so hyped to see Snake pull out a revolver.
And you know what? I'm the greatest sword's ever lived, baby.
And it's funny as well because, you know, if in terms of the original Metal Gear Solid,
yes,
if you want to make that Ocelot fight really easy, then you can just go and put the Twin Snakes on instead.
Oh yes,
and
you can
cheese
see around corners and stuff, right?
You can use a first-person mode because there's like that fight where you have to fight him around a pillar.
Yep.
And in the Twin Snakes, you could just cheese it because you can go first person and just shoot through the pillar.
It's like the HD version of 3, and presumably in Delta as well, which I've not played yet because like, it apparently runs like shit. But in the HD version of Metal Gear Solid 3, they put in like full 360 camera, so you can just like see around corners now.
Yeah, because that was the Subsistence, I think, update. Yeah, where like
which they put
instead of
into
it
the
being
HD
a lock
version.
camera, that you could actually like use the camera properly, which is funny that. Like, your interpretation of Metal Gear Solid 3 is that, oh, the weird version is full camera control, because I think most versions are the version where you can control the camera.
I play the original PS2 version, not Subsistence. Like, the original PS2 version is the version I'm more familiar with. It's the one I played as a kid. Again, ancient gamer. So that's the one I prefer. I prefer the fixed camera angle.
Yeah, but I think it's like, 6 out of 7 versions of the game have full camera control.
We'll bring it back to Metal Gear Solid 1 now. Like, one of the details that I think not a lot of people notice, but I think it's indicative of the level of effort that went into the creation of the entire series, is, as you walk through one of the office blocks in the first Metal Gear Solid game, you'll notice that every desk is unique. And that is a direct result of Hideo Kojima, the director, going to the design team and saying, I don't think this is realistic. I don't think it's realistic that you would walk through an office and have everyone's desk look exactly the same, because everyone's desk is going to have something on it that is indicative of the person who works there.
He's definitely not wrong, but that is a ridiculous level of detail
It
to
is.
put in.
And there's a quote here from Hideo Kojima when he was asked about this of, if the player isn't tricked into believing the world is real, then there's no point in making the game.
I mean, that speaks to his entire gaming philosophy, right? Yeah.
And it goes all the way back to even that early Metal Gear game where every desk had to be unique. That started a trend with Kojima where in every subsequent Metal Gear game that he directed, he would ask every principal member of the production team to add in a detail or Easter egg that was specifically theirs. So much in the same way, every desk would have one element on it that was just reflective of the person who worked there. In every Metal Gear game, there's one Easter egg or detail or little just fun thing that you can do that is reflective of the personality of the person who put it there. So I'd like to think there's someone out there who thought it was just mad funny that Snake could eat shit like rolling down the stairs.
Probably, right? And I find it very funny because, like, in my head, knowing the Twin Snakes version, just all those Easter eggs are just little Yoshi dolls.
You told me about that and I was like, wait, they put Yoshis in that? Because I'm more familiar with like the Ape Escape apes that I've got to put into subsistence.
Yeah, that was a great mode as well. And they turned that into like a Bomberman mode on the new remake for the Xbox version. And yeah, they for the GameCube Twin Snakes version, because obviously, you know, it was GameCube exclusive, it was like, hey, we can put a Mario thing in, right? And they had like little Yoshi dolls that you could shoot, and if you shot every single Yoshi doll, you got an achievement thing.
Was that like the inspiration for like the Keratin frogs in 3?
Yes, I believe
I've
so.
never gotten all of those. I every time I do a playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3, I get almost every Keratin frog up until the fucking chase scene where there's one you have to snipe from the back of a motorcycle in the rain. I'm like, and the only way to check if you got it is to point the directional mic at it, and you won't know if you've got it until 4 hours later. I've never gotten all of the frogs.
Oh god, yeah. I knew in my head that it was something to do with like frogs in general, but I wasn't sure if like in the original game there were frogs and they changed them to Yoshis or something. But yeah, that must be the link that I had in my brain. But
I've never gotten them all.
I do find it very funny because like in the Metal Gear Solid 3 like Delta remake,
yes, which I've not played yet, but it's on my list. Just hey, fucking fix that frame rate.
They did put in a little update to an Easter egg.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but do you remember the kind of nude lewd magazines that they put in there?
Yeah, like they had like all the porno mags around, right? And you could, I think the funniest conversation you get on Codecs is if you're looking at one of those and call the boss. The boss chides you like an angry mother and tells Snake, you don't need those magazines, I taught you how to take care of yourself.
What is that you have in your hands? Honestly, when did you start reading magazines like that? Didn't I teach you how to take care of business without having to rely on that sort of thing?
Which adds so much to their relationship.
But in the remake, they have actually gone back to the same models and taken updated pictures of them.
I saw this, right? Because isn't like you
Yeah.
now look in the magazines and like one of the women's like holding a kid or something, right? Because she's had a kid.
Yeah, and it's like a super cute photo instead.
There's a family photo of like her with her child, right? Because the developers were like, oh, can we get an updated photo of you to put into the game? Which makes it a bit weird, right? Like, I hope they remove that cutscene, because why would Naked Snake be beating his meat to a picture of a woman and a child?
Well, I'd hope they maybe remove it for that, but maybe the other ones are like,
I hope they didn't
still
remove
like...
the name of the achievement now.
What was the name of the achievement?
Snake Beater.
Oh, God, no.
You gotta admit, that's fucking good, right?
Oh, it's
That's
a good one. But that makes it, very uncomfortable in the new context, right? Like, oh, yeah. Yeah, hopefully they updated it in a way that was tasteful.
And I guess to end on, Lucas, any like favourite moments from the Metal Gear series that you like to like single out? 'Cause as I said, there's so many, to the point where like during development of like the first 3 games, like everyone involved was like encouraged, like, hey, put something fun in. Put your mark on this game for players to find.
Obviously, there's a lot in the first few games, like, in terms of moments, thinking about like a lot of the boss fights and stuff, but one of my favourite things is that in Metal Gear Solid 5, it will adapt to your own playstyle.
Oh, yeah, I do like that, yeah.
Like, I think that's something that I've never really encountered in any other game, because nearly every game lets you essentially just abuse one tactic over and over again, whereas in Metal Gear Solid 5, if people are not aware, say, for example, you're a player like I am, where I was trying to do a non-lethal run, going around and just trank darting every single person in the head, there would be a moment where, all of the soldiers are suddenly starting equipping themselves with helmets, and it's because they've heard people keep getting headshotted by Snake.
And like it gets to the point where like if you keep like disabling cameras, they'll install more cameras, or like start moving them to harder to shoot locations. If you walk in all guns blazing like Rambo, they'll start like outfitting soldiers with like heavy weaponry, and you can use it to your advantage as well. Like if you like specifically like keep attacking base with heavy weaponry, they'll start equipping their own, which gives you the ability to just keep stealing their heavy equipment for your own base, and effectively like use your opponents as like a constant source of supplies and resources.
And you can also make it so that during the early missions, you go in all guns blazing, but then they're not prepared for you to go in sneakily later.
Because, you're effectively like, they're going to put all their defense into one thing. Then they won't expect me to sneak in through the gap in the fence that they didn't reinforce because they were expecting a frontal assault.
And there's no other game I can think of that adapts to your playstyle like that.
It is fun. Like, that game has some issues, but I do think it's a lot of fun to play. Especially, like I said, like it's an adaptive experience, which which forces you to adapt on the fly. Which, as you should, like you're the greatest soldier who's ever lived. The greatest soldier who ever lived, like doesn't use you as one tool in their arsenal.
And it's just not as interesting as the game, changing around your playstyle and what you're doing.
For me, it's more the sillier things I tend to remember because they're like the little moments that show they gave a shit. Like, I think just all the fun stuff you can do in Metal Gear Solid like 2 and 3, like riding, slipping on the seagull shit is a fond memory of mine. Like if you slip on seagull shit and Raiden will stand up and start fucking grumbling and he'll rub his back a little bit. Also, like all the stuff you can get on Codec, like if you randomly if you punch a seagull and call your girlfriend, she calls you a monster and refuses to let you save.
Raiden, do you actually enjoy abusing helpless animals?
There's also a great detail if you smoke a cigarette, which is like a common thing in the Metal Gear series. If you smoke a cigarette as Raiden, again, call Rose on the Codex, she chastises him. She's like, Raiden, I thought you were trying to quit.
I see you've still got those cigarettes I gave you. I quit a long time ago. Maybe now's the time to start again.
Just like it's little things like that. It's like so fun. They thought of almost every permutation. Like, and it's something that continue even Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Again, it's like that's balls to the walls action. They still have the codec system, and they have like not hours like in the earlier games, but you still have like dozens of minutes of like unique phone calls about each boss and encounter and enemy type.
It does not make sense. Your hits have no effect.
No shit. Nothing's working. Who the fuck is this guy?
And it's very fitting that they then took that principle and put it into Smash Bros. As well. When Snake, you got to be Snake on Shadow Moses and put in a secret like input, and then you get a codec call that will give you information about each individual character you're fighting against.
Sometimes telling you unique stuff that character can do that the game's manual doesn't tell you they can do. Like, what's your favourite one of those, and why is it when Colonel Campbell's like, if it isn't the king of second bananas? Like, Snake's like, hey, that's Luigi.
That guy with the mustache.
Ah, you mean the king of second bananas?
Hey, that's Luigi. Show him a little respect.
Look at that pale skin. He's been living in his brother's shadow for too long.
That's a low blow, Colonel.
Ah, face it, Snake. Once a kid brother, always a kid brother.
Show some respect.
It's gotta be the Luigi one, right?
Yeah,
I
love the Luigi one. Because the fact that Snake fears Luigi's power because he understands.
Yeah, like, that's gotta be the best one, because it's just like, hey, don't you fuck around with Luigi.
There's also like the one about like Samus, where it's like, hey, Sam, don't fuck with Samus, she'll kick your fucking ass. And Snake's like, yeah, she looks like she'll kick my ass, I'm not gonna mess with this lady.
Mei Ling, Samus took her clothes off.
That's just her in the Zero suit, Snake.
Without that bulky power suit, she's gotten a lot more agile. I bet if I took off all this heavy gear, I could catch her.
Yeah, you wish. Even without the power suit, all that training she did with the Chozo has made her a super athlete. I don't think a normal human could ever keep up. Just look at her.
So how is it that like this Easter egg in a Smash Bros game paid more respect for like Samus as a character than fucking in the entirety of Other M? Where it's like she's Zero Suit Samus, like you call up like Meryl, it's like don't fuck with her, she'll kick your ass. She's the toughest and strongest person here, don't mess with her. She's better than a super soldier. Got it. Lay me out.
Like, you might be the greatest soldier on Earth. She's the greatest soldier in the galaxy. Don't mess with her.
Well, I mentioned Revengeance, and that game doesn't have as much silly detail in it because it's an action game. You don't have as much time to like just sit and explore the world because it's just cut this robot into confetti, go fight the level boss. There is a lot of fun stuff in that game I've discovered because like there was like a 2-year period where I streamed the game every week on Twitch. And I won't be streaming it this month, so I'm doing Stoptober, but maybe in November I might stream it again because I have like a thing on Twitch when I stream it of like, here are some rare voice lines in the game that only play very like sporadically, and if they play, we do a drink. And there's a couple of like, because I've fought the bosses so many times, there's so many like specific interactions you can get. And one of my favourites is if you beat every boss, but then get your ass kicked by Jetstream Sam, he has a rare chance to say, I can't believe you beat Sundowner, who's the previous boss.
Right,
and that to me felt very Metal Gear. That was this really super rare voice line that'll only happen if you absolutely fucking fly through the entire game and then get beaten by Jetstream Sam. It's like, I can't believe you beat Sundowner. Or with when you're fighting Armstrong, when you're fighting him hand to hand. If you fight him and you kick his ass, you can't beat him during that section, but if you absolutely fucking kick his ass, he'll like stop, brush himself off, and just look at you and go, man to man, I can't be beat, and let you hit him. And that only happens if you can absolutely whomp his ass and do like a shit ton of damage without your sword. He'll acknowledge the fact like, look, you're trying, but man to man, you're not beating me. And it's sick as fuck.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.